Sadnam. We are Jen and Ramtin from Heart Center Revolution.
Our intention with this podcast is to share the best of Kundalini Yoga and conscious living with you so you can live a more heart-centered life. Satnam, and welcome to episode 30 of the Heart Centered Revolution podcast. This, I think, is probably my favorite episode to date of all 30 episodes. In this episode, we're going to talk about Wahe Guru Wahe Jio, one of the most powerful mantras. And the pranayam at the end is alternate nostril breathing, or the perspective and emotional balance meditation. And it is one of my favorite pranayams. It's one of the ones that I do regularly. So I'm really, really excited to share it with you, and I hope you love it as much as I do. And at the end of the episode, I'm going to share a little bit more information, remind you that we have a retreat coming up, a New Year's Eve retreat. We're actually calling it a Renew Year retreat. How cool is that? So you can come spend some time connecting with us face to face. We're going to practice yoga every day and just consciously transition into the new year. It's such a busy time. It'll be nice to kind of get away and connect with ourselves and create some conscious community. But I'll share more about that at the end of the episode. All right, so the topic of today's episode, or I should say, the starting off point for the discussion, the very wandering discussion that we always end up getting into because these topics are so fascinating and are all interconnected. But the starting off point is the mantra Wahe Guru Wahe Jio. So if you're verbal like I am, it's Wahe, W-A-H-E, Guru, G-U-R-U, Wahe, W-A-H-E, Jio, J-I-O. I'm sure you'll find other spellings out there. People are just phonetically trying to make it match how it sounds, but it's Wahe Guru Wahe Jio. So the direct translation of the mantra that I found is great beyond description is the experience of God's wisdom. That's Wahe Guru. And Wahe Jio is great beyond description is the experience of God blessing the soul. The trouble I have with some of these direct translations is that the words and the meaning behind Wahe Guru and Wahe Jio often don't have a direct word in English, and so you end up getting religious words kind of pulled in when the actual meaning of the words isn't particularly religious. So if the word God resonates with you, great, keep that translation for yourself. But I know when I came into Kundalini Yoga, I was like an atheist at the time, and so the word God kind of didn't resonate with me, and I felt a little excluded and had a hard time connecting with the translations of the mantras, while the mantras themselves, I really felt deeply in my soul. And so I'll offer another translation that's a little more in the, spiritual but not religious category. And so Wahe is kind of like, wow, isn't that amazing? So Wahe, it's just incredible. And then Guru is Gu means dark and Ru means light. So the word guru doesn't even necessarily relate to a person like we kind of interpret it here in English in the West. Guru is anything that sheds lightness into the dark. And so that can be a book, it can be a teaching, it can be a mantra. So Wahe Guru is isn't this enlightenment incredible? And then Wahe Jio is isn't this blessing? Isn't it a blessing to have this enlightenment? And isn't that amazing? And oftentimes the biggest piece of enlightenment that we're going after in yoga is the understanding that we are all connected, we are all one, and so we are all that infinite energy. And so that's kind of what, to me, Wahe Guru Wahe Jio is. Isn't this revelation that I am perfect and whole and connected to the infinite an incredible revelation? And doesn't it feel so good? Isn't it such a blessing to have had this revelation in my life? And so that's the meaning of Wahe Guru Wahe Jio. And then the language, whether you use the word God or infinite or source or just love, that's kind of up to you. Another important thing to know about this mantra is that it's the mantra of ecstasy. So it said not only to be the experience of the divine, but impart the experience of the divine. So this mantra means a clear perception of what is important to preserve, and that it links the essence of your purpose to the greater minds and souls in the cosmos. I'm telling you, this is really, really good stuff. And another thing to note about this mantra is that it's part of the Aquarian sadhana. And so if you've been in the Kundalini community for a while, you know that there's this 2.5 hour practice that people are encouraged to do, particularly as they're going through teacher training. And it includes 62 minutes of chanting, and 22 minutes of those is Wahe Guru Wahe Jio. So you can often find tracks of this mantra that are 22 minutes long. And I actually want to share my favorite with you. I'll share a little snippet of it. It's Wahe Guru Wahe Jio by the Guru Ganesh Band. So here's a little taste or flavor of the mantra.
Wahe Guru Wahe Guru Wahe Guru Wahe Jio Wahe Guru Wahe Guru Wahe Guru Wahe Jio Wahe Guru Wahe
All right, now that you have kind of the foundation for Wahe Guru Wahe Jio, and just listening to the mantra made me realize that I didn't mention that you'll chant Wahe Guru 3 times and then Wahe Jio. But anyways, now that you have the foundation for that, I want to prepare you a little bit to jump into Ramtin's class. And so he had started off the discussion with the class by asking the students who were present what Wahe Guru Wahe Jio means to them. So there were quite a few students who have been practicing for a long time. And if you haven't listened to previous episodes, I just edit out the students' voices to keep their confidentiality. And then I'll relate to you what was said so that the conversation still makes sense and is still a rich conversation. So when Ramtin asked the students about what Wahe Guru Wahe Jio means to them, one of the students said that she uses the mantra to replace curse words. So if she gets cut off in traffic and she thinks of a curse word, then she'll replace it with Wahe Guru Wahe Jio. And another student shared that she puts on Wahe Guru Wahe Jio to connect to that inner state of bliss, to that inner state of light. And she also mentioned that even just saying the words Wahe Guru Wahe Jio, it kind of naturally makes you smile. And some people will even, when something great happens, they'll say Wahe Guru. And then the real practice is when something bad happens, saying Wahe Guru, isn't the enlightenment of this bad thing that I experienced also wonderful and blissful? And that's honestly one of the beauties of the spiritual path, is being able to say Wahe Guru when something does go wrong and really honor the teaching and the enlightenment and the bliss in the challenges of life. But if you're not quite there yet, or you're not in that space in this moment, know that that's okay too. It's kind of something that comes after a lot of consistent practice. All right, we'll jump into Ramtin's class now, and he is following up on the comments of the students about, when she wanted to curse, using Wahe Guru Wahe Jio instead, so that what he's asking will make more sense.
Why would you say a bad word in different situations that, you're mad? And, why would you get mad? Something is not pleasing to you. Even more than that, right? Something is offensive to you, something that's threatening to you, something that's against your morale, your belief system, something that is to you is unethical, against the law, and so on and so forth. Those things are pretty much threatening to us. It's offensive. We feel that when someone cuts us off, it's a shock to our body, right? We perceive it as such, is harmful, is attack, sort of forceful energy. So when you have all of that, and all of that, where is it coming from? Is it really your perception of someone cutting you off because you brought up an example, could be anything else, right? Would that be a perception?
So here a student responds that it's fear, like it's your fear that you're going to get in an accident or be hurt that causes that negative response or the negative thoughts.
Exactly. Those thoughts come to mind, right? Now, what if I got in an accident? That's a stupid thing the guy did. And doesn't matter if you're going, let's say, 100 miles an hour, and someone cuts you off really closely, inches away. That's a real threat. More threat than if you're going 5 miles an hour, somebody comes in, not really that close, but in a little abrupt way. A lot of people react to both very similarly. Some may not. And if you do or not depends on your perception. So utilizing Wahe Guru, a positive word, a positive thought, instead of being threatened and getting to that fight-flight mode, as long as you do it with the intention of know what you're doing, like that's why the question, what does it mean to you? Wahe Guru doesn't mean shit, right? Doesn't mean like, oh crap. If you utilize it in that, what's the use, right? But if you use it as that bringing me back to my own light, to my own inner peace, to my own inner wisdom, connecting to that ecstasy, indescribable wisdom. And when you give it that meaning and allow that consciousness yourself to connect to that consciousness, then you experience it. And as you really become connected with that consciousness and continuously experiencing it, that Wahe Guru, you give it meaning, and that meaning, that consciousness will come to you as you think it, as you chant it, as you see it, see the words, hear it. It works two ways, both ways. And you start to change your level of consciousness. And when you put two and two together, when you hear, I see all as one, right? God is in all. And everything that's happening around us as we, put a meaning to it, good, bad, ugly, good, whatever it is, it kind of fades away in a way, And it's easier to let go of that fear and not allow that fear to be forceful and harmful. Does that make sense? So bring that intention to yourself as you chant Wahe Guru, connecting with that infinite wisdom that's indescribable. But as you get into that meditative mode, as you get into that state of the mind that's in a neutral mind and is beyond the duality of the polarized mind, you center yourself because it's your natural state. You naturally connect to that infinite self. You naturally connect to that higher self and that balance. That's your homeostasis. But it's been lost because of the conditional world. And that's why it's easy for us, once you overcome the hurdles of physical body, your thoughts, your memory, to connect, to just easily with a long deep breath, you just balance yourself, you connect that higher consciousness because it's your natural self. And the meaning behind human nature what is your nature, we tend to give sort of our limitations a meaning of human nature. It's human nature to get angry. It's human nature to be fearful. It's human nature to get, to be sick. It's not. It's human nature to react in a certain way. No, it's not. He has become our conditional nature. And you got to distinguish that for yourself. So this is the consciousness we are developing continuously, every day, on a daily basis. Guru Yogi Bhajan said that in the coming years, the new age, times are going to be tough. Why? And you're experiencing it. Because you are changing. Because your level of consciousness is changing, your sensitivity is changing. What you're manifesting, how you're manifesting through your thoughts, through your intentions, through your emotions, is expediting and is becoming more rapid. Your thoughts are coming into manifestation much more rapidly. And a lot of people, the reason that we don't manifest as fast as we are capable of, because of the fears of our own thoughts and negativity. And rightly so, we don't want to manifest those. That's why I need the daily discipline. That's why I need a daily practice. That's why I need to really believe in what you're doing here, in the meditations, in the mantras, in the words that you're doing, that is really recreating who you are, your level of consciousness. Knowing that you are creating the future as you are enjoying the moment. And this practice brings both of the now and the future for you. As you connect to your heart, as you realize who you are. And that's Wahe Guru. And Wahe Jio is that affectionate way of connecting to the Guru. The level of respect for yourself and for the Guru.
All right, what a great discussion they had in that class. And I just wanted to clarify or provide another perspective for one of the practices that Ramtin was talking about. He alluded to the importance and the effectiveness of, knowing the meaning of a mantra and bringing a certain intention to a mantra. So, for example, knowing the meaning of Wahe Guru Wahe Jio, when you chant it, when you see the words, it can carry like a more magnified vibration for you. And that is absolutely true. And it's a great way to practice. But it is also true that the sounds of the mantra, so the wa, like when you're saying wahe, the way your mouth shapes the wa and the way it, works the muscles in your mouth and the way your tongue taps the meridians on the roof of your mouth, that also is effective. And so you don't have to know the meaning of a mantra for it to create effects for you. You don't have to believe that chanting mantras creates an impact for you. In fact, in the beginning, a lot of people are skeptical, and that's totally fine. What we encourage you to do is that you experiment, that you try things and see what the impact is. And then once you kind of have your grounding and your footing a little bit more, if a specific mantra speaks to you, or if you want to magnify the impact that it has on your life, then what Ramtin is saying is that if you bring your mind and your feelings and your intention all into the practice, in addition to the chanting that you're doing or the listening that you're doing, of absorbing those vibrations and making those shapes with your mouth, then the impact on your life is just exponential. So it's not required, but it's kind of like the icing on the cake that comes once you've kind of jumped over that skeptical hurdle that a lot of us have when we're first introduced to chanting mantras or to just listening to mantras. Okay, that is it for our discussion on Wahe Guru Wahe Jio today. So we will transition into our meditation. So the meditation that we're going to do today is alternate nostril breathing. So in the last two meditations, we experimented with breathing just through the left nostril or just through the right. And now we're going to switch. And so I'll guide you through that. It's pretty simple. Once you take a couple breaths, you'll see that it flows pretty naturally. And now this pranayam is probably my personal favorite because one of the benefits is that it calms the constant computations of your mind. And so I have a very overactive mind. And a lot of the times it's even positive stuff like finding solutions and coming up with ideas and da-da-da-da-da. But it just feels like it's always on. And it's always kind of tapping me on the shoulder and trying to get my attention. And this pranayam is one of the most effective ways to quiet your mind. And so we're going to do 3 minutes. You may or may not feel like a huge shift in just 3 minutes, but this practice is valuable. And we'll talk after the meditation about how you can incorporate it if this quieting of the mind. And it also kind of can help bring you into a broader perspective. So if you feel like you need a shift in perspective or a quieting of your mind, I'll share after the meditation or after the pranayam a little bit about how you can continue your practice here. So let's get started though. So bring yourself into your comfortable seat. Elongate that spine, open the heart, roll those shoulders up, back, and down. Lift the crown of the head up nice and tall. Chin comes pushing back. And then let's close our eyes and do just a couple long, deep breaths. So let's inhale deeply into the belly, filling up the ribs and the chest. Exhaling, chest, ribs, and belly. One more like this. Inhaling, belly, ribs, and chest. Exhaling, chest, ribs, and belly. Great. On the next inhale, bring your right hand up. Using your thumb, very gently close the right nostril. And we're going to inhale through that left nostril. So inhaling, belly, ribs, and chest. Let's move the hand so that you're using your ring finger to close the left nostril and exhale through the right. Exhaling, chest, ribs, belly. Stay there and inhale through the right. Inhaling, belly, ribs, and chest. Switch the hand so that you exhale through the left. Exhaling, chest, ribs, and belly. And go ahead and inhale left. Switch, exhale right. Staying there for the inhale. Then continuing this pattern, exhaling through the left. Staying for the inhale. Switching to the right. Exhale. Staying through the inhale. So we're switching between the inhale and exhale. And staying between the exhale and inhale. Keeping these breaths long and deep. Keep those eyes focused at the third eye. just do a few more. Keep that posture nice and tall. Do 2 more, inhaling deeply. Exhale. Inhaling. And exhale. Bring your hand down. Inhale deeply through both nostrils. Suspend the breath for a moment, squeezing the body, feeling energy moving up the central channel of your body and out the crown of your head, eyes focused at the third eye. Exhale. Relax the posture, relax the breath. Just be. Notice any energetic, emotional, or spiritual shifts that have occurred. And blink your eyes open, become more acquainted with the environment you're in. Beautiful job. So that meditation or that pranayam is for perspective and emotional balance. And we did 3 minutes here. And so hopefully you felt a shift, in that 3 minutes. But if you want like the meditation to have an effect for, a whole day or hours from now, it's recommended that you practice a little bit longer than 3 minutes. And so this pranayam is a great starter pranayam. It's one in the teaching says that any Kundalini yogi should master this practice. And so it's worth spending some time with it. It really does work to quiet the constant churning of the mind. But you would, again, probably need to do a little more than 3 minutes. Or maybe not. 3 minutes might be enough for you. I know for my mind, I need a little longer. It needs a little more encouragement to slow down. And so if you're going to do longer practices, I really would recommend that you tune in with Om Namo Gurudev Namo 3 times and then practice, anywhere between 7 and 15 minutes. And then you would close with Long Time Sun or Sat Nam. And that would be a really beautiful meditation practice for you to start doing. And if you're looking for more support in starting a home practice or in deepening your experience with Kundalini Yoga, then you can always sign up for our free 5-day course. It's at, the website is heartcenteredrevolution.com/free course. And when you sign up, you get an email with a video in it every day for 5 days. And it covers the basics of Kundalini Yoga. So mantra, pranayam, exercises, relaxation, and meditation. So you kind of get to know the foundational practices in each of those categories and get a deeper understanding of how each of those practices work, like why they're included in the overall umbrella of Kundalini Yoga. So if you want to do that, again, it's heartcenteredrevolution.com/free course. What we want to release and then to set really conscious, high vibe intentions for 2020. And a big part of the way we're going to do all that is through our practice. So we'll do daily Kundalini Yoga and meditation practices. And one of the days we're going to do a rebirthing Kriya. And so rebirthing Kriyas in Kundalini Yoga are super powerful. They're designed to release like major blocks and stories and just junk from your subconscious mind, like to release so much that you feel like a different person afterwards. Sometimes, to be honest, it takes a day or two to feel the difference, but they're called rebirthing kriyas because it's almost like you're born anew. And you've lightened your mental load, like that load in your subconscious a little bit. We're also bringing a gong, so we'll have plenty of gong relaxation, and we've made sure there's plenty of downtime for journaling and reflection and integration. We really thought about like, what do we want to do around the new year that hasn't been created yet? And so we're really creating that. And so we want to offer it to you, to our Heart-Centered Revolution community. And it's a tiny retreat, like it's very small. So if you are interested, I really recommend that you check it out and you register now. It's also a great value. We were able to get a good deal on the venue, and since Heather is doing the food ourselves, like we're not having to cater out, it's the best value you're going to find for a retreat like this. So you can get more information about the retreat at heartcenteredrevolution.com/retreat. Or you can listen to the previous episode 29, which actually includes an interview with Heather where she kind of shares some of her conscious nutrition tips, like how to eat in alignment with your body and with your intuition. So that's a great episode if you haven't listened to it anyways. But if you're thinking about the retreat and aren't sure, I would check it out because she's awesome and really has a different approach to food that's so in alignment with using your intuition and connecting with yourself as you choose the foods that you eat. So you have a lot of options for how you can move forward from this episode. Oh, I almost forgot to mention, I'll put a link to that Wahe Guru Wahe Jio version, or to that version of Wahe Guru Wahe Jio on the show notes for this episode. So that link would be heartcenteredrevolution.com/episode 30, and all the links you need will be there. All right, we love you. We hope you're having a great day. Satnam.